Is the CEO of Airspace Africa. Derek, thank you so much for your time. I want to ask you something very simple because I think it comes down to this one word. Do you trust Boeing? Would you fly in a Boeing?
Well, I'll tell you this, and as a pilot myself, obviously the Boeing issue has been well documented, especially since the MAX disasters. I think the MAX crisis was definitely an issue of safety. And then we've had a few incidents this year. We came to Alaska, which put to the fore the issues with quality. So it's both quality and safety. To be honest with you, I still feel that Boeing is flying aircraft that I would be happy to fly with. I think even right now, there's a lot of people around the world that are flying 737 MAX aircraft. But that's not to say that Boeing does not have issues to sort out in order to make aviation safer, given its place in the global aviation ecosystem.
What did you make of the testimony given by those whistleblowers to that US Senate committee, which is looking into Boeing's business practices? I mean, one of those gentlemen committed suicide. Another one was saying that he was continually intimidated. And they were making allegations that the entire system of inspection was one that was simply inviting a disaster and that their Boeing managers weren't listening to them.
Yes, and the disaster that he speaks about has happened, or at least we've come close to a disaster. In fact, the FBI has told passengers from the last Boeing incident that involved Alaska Airlines, it's told passengers that they might have actually been victims of a potential crime by Boeing. So there's a lot here that Boeing needs to resolve, not just with the flying public, but with the Department of Justice as well. When it comes to quality, last week, a few days ago, Boeing did announce finally a decision to acquire Spirit Air Systems. Spirit is very much at the heart of some of these issues when it comes to quality and safety. It's a huge part of Boeing's supply chain, and part of the reason why they're acquiring Spirit Air Systems is to take more control of the quality practices at this company as well.
Derek, let's just go back a couple of years. Do you remember when the CEO of Boeing was being questioned and the authorities were saying to him, this system that has caused the crashes of the Lion Air aircraft and the Ethiopian Airlines aircraft, you have been asking your clients, whichever airline they are, to pay extra money to discover how the system fully works. I believe I'm correct generally in my assessment of that MCAS system, which it was proven that the pilots weren't at fault. It was the plane itself that was taking it into a nosedive and causing it to crash. And there the issue of trust becomes, again, super important. How can you have clients using the same system and some have the full information and others don't?
Yeah, absolutely. And the issue of trust is very much at the heart of this, and at the heart as well of the potential felony charges from the Department of Justice. Remember, Boeing escaped these charges in 2021 when it entered a settlement with the Department of Justice for about $2.5 billion US. And that settlement at that time had a fine as well. And the issue with Alaska, when it came up, simply brought up the fact that Boeing has actually not followed up on part of the agreement, which was to actually put mechanisms in place for it to be able to detect and to prevent any future breaches of trust and any future anti-fraud violations by Boeing itself. So it's now had to incur another fine of $243.6 million US, which is the same as the first fine that was part of the $2.5 billion US settlement. Listen, if you are related to any of the victims in the 737 MAX crash, and I've listened to some of them speak recently, this is looked at very much as a sweet deal for Boeing, and that they're escaping, they continue to escape the real justice, because at the end of the day, these numbers behind them, they have real stories, they have real people who lived lives and have left behind families that are still hurting from the events of the two MAX crashes.
Well said, Derek, because it always comes down to how anything affects people. Derek and Nseko, thank you.